Oh, now we're learning the Mishnah in Psachim. Okay, so the Mishnah in Psachim. Now, I just wanted to make it clear. What's the purpose of the Mishnah? What's the Mishnah? The Mishnah is what's called the oral Torah. The oral Torah. Without the oral Torah, the explanation, the whole Torah is just completely, totally meaningless. When Moses was on Mount Sinai, so God gave him the written Torah, 10 Commandments and all the other laws, that he should write it down. That's the book we have today. And he also gave us the explanations, because without the explanations, the whole thing is just a big jumble of confusion. For instance, just take a simple example, the 10 Commandments. It says, don't kill, don't steal. Don't kill what? Maybe you can't kill bacteria. It doesn't say don't kill people. Lo tirtzach, don't kill. Maybe it means don't kill time. Maybe don't steal means you can't steal second base or something. What does it mean, don't steal? So, therefore, there has to be an explanation. When it says don't worship any other gods, right? You have to know what is the God you're supposed to worship, and what is an other God? What does it mean? So, in order to understand this, so God gave Moses the oral explanation, and then this was passed down from generation to generation. Everybody knew what you had to do. You know, like putting on tefillin. That's not written anywhere in the Torah. You have to put on tefillin. It says you have to put on totafot or ot. What does it mean? It doesn't say what a mezuzah is. It says you have to put one on your door. What is it? Everybody just does what they want. So no, these laws are very, very exact, and they're explained in the oral Torah. It's called the oral Torah. And that's what we're learning here. These are the laws that were passed down from Moses. But there's also a lot of laws which were, according to God's will, were made up laws, fences around the laws, new laws that were made up after God gave the Torah. Chanukah, Purim, right? Making 100 blessings every day. It's called the Sheva Mitzvahs, the Rabbanan. And then there's a lot of other takanas and other laws also that were made up by the different rabbis through the generations. Okay, so that's enough of that introduction, and now we will go into the depth. We're talking about eating chametz on Pesach. Now, the whole rest of the year, it is totally permissible to eat chametz. Chametz is regular bread. The food has to be kosher, right? But if you have on Passover, you have kosher cookies, kosher cake, the most kosher you could possibly have. In other words, if it's not kosher for Passover, then it's a big sin on Passover to eat a cookie. A kosher cookie. What could be wrong with eating a kosher cookie? So it's a big sin. One of the biggest sins in the Torah is to eat a cookie on Passover. Just the thought of it, right? What could possibly be wrong with eating a cookie? And a person doesn't know if it's Passover, he forgets that it's Passover, eats a cookie, it's a sin. Yes, it's a sin. The punishment is less because he didn't do it on purpose, but he has nevertheless done a sin. So it says a person that eats truma on, what happened? 1 second. This is not being shared. 1 minute. No, it's not. What happened here? Excuse me. Oh yeah, it is. So I get both. I get both these things. Oh, look at this. Okay, it didn't used to be that this would work. Okay, good. Oh, I see. I remember, because you don't see my pointer if I do it like that. Good. Well, let's go. A person who eats truma, Pesach, chametz on Pesach, b'shogeg, by accident. Okay, what is truma? And chametz on Pesach. What is truma? Truma is a portion of your crops, of your food, that has to be given to the Kohen. Has to be given to the priest. It's forbidden for you to eat it. If you have grains, you're a farmer, you have grains, or you buy from a farmer a bunch of grains, and he did not take the truma from it, you cannot eat that flour. And if you make bread from it, can't eat the bread. You have to take a portion of it. Let's say 1/100th, 1/50th, 1/50th. You have to take a portion of that and set it aside and say, this is truma. And then that makes all the rest of the flour or the bread or whatever kosher. You can eat it. But that piece of truma is forbidden to eat. You can't eat it. It's forbidden. And it's a big punishment if you eat it. So it says, not only that, what if this truma belonged to the Kohen? What if the Kohen already got the truma? You gave it to your local Kohen, and your local Kohen had this truma, and he left it outside. It rose up, and you were really hungry that day. You're walking down the street, Pesach. You know Pesach? You walk by Mr. Cohen's house, and he has this truma sitting on his doorstep. But he wasn't supposed to have it. It's cool. Let's say he doesn't know it's there. But anyway, there it is. And it's truma. Truma, you can't eat truma. And it's also chametz. And it's also chametz. So what do? You eat it. Why did you do a thing like that? Why did you made a mistake. He made a mistake. He forgot it was Pesach. He didn't know it was chametz. He forgot that chametz is forbidden on Pesach. Right? He didn't know, whatever it was, whatever the reason was. There's all sorts of reasons for people making mistakes. And he used one of these reasons. And he ate chametz. But he did it by accident, b'shogeg. So it says he has to pay the Kohen, Mishalem, he has to pay the Kohen, Karen, the value of this chametz, and chamesh, and 1/5. Like I said before, if that chametz was worth $100, let's say 100 cents, that's even better. $1, 100 cents. So he has to give back the Kohen $1.25. In other words, it comes out to be 1/5. Okay, now you're going to ask an obvious question. 1 second. This is chametz that belongs to a Kohen. The Kohen is a Jew. A Jew can't have chametz on Pesach. What has he got chametz on Pesach for? So let's say he didn't know. Let's say he was holding on to it. He wanted to use it for wood, something like that. He didn't know what he was. So now he has to, but okay, he didn't know, but you can't get any pleasure from this chametz. Why does he have to pay him back anything? The chametz is worth zero, nothing whatsoever on Passover. It's not worth anything. It's not worth anything. It's not. It's forbidden to get any pleasure from it. So why does he have to pay back the original value, and why does he have to add on a 1/5? Why a 1/5? What does he add on? Okay, we're going to explain all this. B'mezid, what if he ate this chametz truma on purpose? Right? He goes by and he sees there's a big clump of chametz sitting outside of this Kohen's house, and he says, "Wow, I'm really hungry. If I'm here, it's a sign from the Lord that I can eat it, and it's chametz. I know that it's chametz, and he eats it. He eats the chametz on purpose. Pater mitashlumim. He doesn't have to pay, and also midame'etzim, and he doesn't have to pay anything. He doesn't even have to pay the value of wood. Let's not treat this big loaf of bread like it's a loaf of bread. Let's treat the loaf of bread like it's firewood, right? It's forbidden to eat it, but maybe you can get pleasure from it, huh? If the fact that you can't get pleasure from it, but maybe we see before Passover, it says, what is it in the in the 4th hour it's permissible to eat. The 5th hour you can't get pleasure from it. So we see that there's one time when it's forbidden to eat, but you can't get pleasure. Maybe the same thing here. So it says you can't, it's not so. The chametz is forbidden to eat, it's forbidden to get pleasure from. You ate it, right? You ate it. So it says you don't have to pay anything. Why? Because the punishment is even greater. We'll see. Let's learn this. Very interesting. Okay, we're going to learn a few laws about Trumat chametz b'Pesach. We're going to learn about truma, and we're going to learn about chametz. Let's learn. Shaninu, we learned Ha'ochel truma, if a person eats truma, if he eats this portion of grain or bread that was given to the Kohen, it belongs to the Kohen. Now, this is now called holy food. Not exactly Kodesh, but it's called holy food. And it belongs to the Kohen. It is forbidden for a regular person to eat this, right? Like it's forbidden to eat pork or something. Pork is forbidden for all Jews. Truma is forbidden for all non-Kohen Jews. Mishalem Keren v'chametz. It says that in the rest of the year, if you eat truma of a Kohen, you take a Kohen's truma and you eat it, you don't know that it's truma. You ate it b'shogeg, then you have to pay him back the value of that bread that you ate and also add on 1/5. It's a puzzle. U'mishalem chulin metukin. How do you pay him back? He says you don't pay him with money. You don't have to give him the value. You have to give him the bulk. How much bulk was there? That you have to give him back, that same bulk. V'hem nasim truma. And then whatever you give him, that becomes truma. In other words, she'enu mishal no mos, you don't give him back money. Elo peros, you give him back fruits. V'tashlumim, and the reparations that you give him, right? You ate his loaf of bread. Now you have to give him back. How much did you eat? How much did that loaf of bread weigh? It weighed, let's say, 1 kilo or displaced 1 kilo. So you have to give him a kilo of berries, bananas, apples, something like that. And then these apples and berries and bananas, whatever you decide to give him, they now become truma. It says that if you eat truma, if you eat this truma of a Kohen by accident, the notan laKohen at the Kodesh is you have to give the Kohen not the money, you have to give him the Kodesh, the holy food. Davar haroy liot Kodesh, a thing which is fit to become Kodesh. So Mishnatenu Dana that's talking about a zar, a non-Kohen. A zar is a non-Kohen. Ha'ochel truma, that eats trumas chametz on Passover. If he what he has to pay back, or maybe he doesn't have to pay anything back. We learn if he does it on purpose, doesn't have to pay anything back. Let's see. Now we'll explain what we learned before. Ha'ochel trumas chametz v'Pesach, a person that eats truma that is also chametz on Pesach, kagon, for instance, shehi frish matzah b'Pesach. For instance, the Kohen, he baked matzah on Passover. It's permissible to bake matzah on Passover. You just have to be careful that it didn't come chametz. So he took a big portion of the matzah, he baked matzah on Passover, took a big portion, and he put it on his windowsill, and he forgot about it, and it became chametz. Oshi frish tumas chametz, or maybe he separated truma that already was chametz before Pesach, and it reached Pesach, and he forgot. The Kohen just left it there. In any case, however it is, the Kohen has in his possession forbidden chametz, and that was made from truma. It was made from this sanctified flour or the dough. Okay, then I come along, I'm not a Kohen, and I eat from this thing. If I do that, the Jew eats from it as b'shogeg. If I did it by accident, if I ate this by accident or unknowingly, shelo yada, I didn't know that it was truma. Afim yada, even though that I knew that it was chametz, then what do I have to pay? I have to pay him back because it was there was a lack of knowledge here. It was accidental that I ate. It was without intention that I ate this chametz. So I have to pay keren v'chomesh. I have to pay the value and add on a fifth. In other words, to add on actually comes to be a fourth. So it ends up outside, it becomes a fifth. So if that piece of bread was worth $1, now I have to pay him $1.25, which means that's 5 quarters. That's what I have to give. I give Kadin kol zar, which is the law of any non-Kohen that eats truma by accident. Even though that chametz on Pesach is forbidden to get pleasure from, and it's not worth anything. If so, why do I have to pay back the Kohen if I ate his chametz? God forbid that I should eat chametz, but if that I ate his chametz, why should I have to pay? The chametz is not worth anything to anybody. Chametz is forbidden totally. You can't get any pleasure from it. So if so, how can this Kohen get the pleasure, the remuneration of the value of the chametz that I ate? His chametz, the chametz that I ate is like nothing. It's like I ate air. Nevertheless, why am I obligated to pay? I'm not paying back money. I'm not paying him according to the value, but I'm giving fruits according to the measure, the bulk of the truma. Like I explained before. In the fruits of our Mishnah. So in other words, I don't have to pay him back money because the thing is not worth anything. Because I'm not paying according to the value. I'm paying according to the volume. That's if I ate it by accident. If I ate by accident his chametz, and then I have to give him back fruits which are worth 1 1/5 times, right? 125, 1 1/4 times the value of what I ate. Okay, what instead of saying I ate, let's say a Jew. If a Jew eats on purpose the truma chametz of a Kohen, if he ate this truma that was also chametz bepesach on mezid on purpose, that he knew that it was truma, even though that he didn't know it was chametz, nevertheless he doesn't have to pay anything. Why not? He did it on purpose. Should be a worse punishment. Should have to pay 20 times as much. No, it doesn't have to pay anything. Why? Because a person that eats truma and mezid, what's the law? Dino kagazlan. He's a thief. And a thief, in this case, is exempt. This is only if he eats truma by accident does he have to pay this 1 1/5. He has to pay the extra fifth. Only if he eats by accident. But if he eats by on purpose, then this Jew that ate the Kohen's truma on purpose is a thief, and a thief doesn't have to pay 1/5, and he has to pay money according to the value of the truma. This law of eating truma b'shogeg is a weird law. If you eat by accident, then it's a special weird law that you have to pay back the volume of what you ate truma. You have to pay the volume of the truma that you ate. Because it was an accident, you have to add on a fifth. So, but if you ate on purpose, now you have a whole different story. If you eat on purpose, this law of 1/5 certainly doesn't apply. And also the idea of the volume doesn't apply. Now I have to pay according to the value. How much is chametz worth value? 0. It's worth absolutely nothing. The one who owns chametz on Passover, all he gets is just a sin. That you can't get any pleasure from it. You can't get any. It's one of the few things that says that, and also a pit in a public domain, that if you, anything that's in a public domain is ownerless. This is, there's 2 things which don't really have any owners, but the Torah made you an owner in order to punish you. And that is if you dig a pit in a public domain, so it's a public domain, doesn't belong to anybody, right? So if somebody falls in it, so it's not my fault, it's a public domain. It says, okay, you're right. The pit is public property, it doesn't belong to you, but because you dug it, so we're going to make you obligated. The same thing is with chametz on Passover. If you own chametz on Passover, so it's a big sin. How can it be a sin? I can't get any pleasure from it. It's not mine. So it says it makes it as though it's yours in order to make you obligated. It's the same thing over here. So therefore, if someone eats chametz on purpose on Passover, somebody else's chametz, he doesn't have to pay the person back of what he ate. And why? Because he didn't eat anything. The person can't get any pleasure. The person wasn't supposed to have chametz anyway. But even if he does, it's not worth anything. So therefore, if, let's say, a non-religious Jew, and he's got a big birthday cake, and he's waiting for it to eat, and I go and eat it on Passover. So technically, if he takes me to a rabbinical court, I don't have to pay him back because it's not worth anything. That's the law, but it's not worth it. He shouldn't have had chametz on Pesach, and that he does have chametz on Pesach, it's like he's not owning anything because he can't get any pleasure from it. Therefore, it's pleasure. Then it's pleasure. Therefore, he doesn't have to pay anything back. and even exempt from paying the value of wood. As I explained to you, even the wood, namely, how much it would be worth to use this chametz in order to light his oven. Nevertheless, I don't have to pay anything. This chametz is forbidden even to get pleasure. Some people say that this Mishnah is coming to teach us that if he eats truma that's impure, he doesn't have to pay the value of wood, because truma that is pure, you can't use it for fire. It's like destroying. You can't destroy truma. Truma is very special. You can't destroy this truma food. Shalom nitna ela lachila. You can only eat it and drink it, and you can use it for bodily purposes, for massage or whatever, which is not the case. Truma tamea, truma which is impure. So it says we're not talking about chametz anymore. We're talking about regular in the year. The Kohen has the permission that impure truma that has become defiled, to touch the dead body or touch whatever. So the Kohen has the permission to light it, use it as firewood, wood. But that's talking about if it's in the regular year. But if it's truma, chametz, but if it's chametz on Passover that became impure, you cannot use it even for firewood. Why? Because it's forbidden to get pleasure from it. Therefore, the Kohen didn't lose anything. Therefore, you don't have to pay the value of wood. So, in other words, the short summary of our Mishnah: if a Jew eats the truma of a Kohen on Passover, and that truma was chametz, so if he did it by accident, he has to pay the Kohen back the value, actually not the value, but the volume of what he ate, and add on also 1/5. So it ends up that he pays him back 1 1/4 times of what he ate in fruits. But if he ate it on purpose, then he doesn't have to pay anything, because you're not allowed to get any pleasure from chametz, number one. And number two, this thing of adding on 1/5 is only if you do it by accident. As we'll talk about more, God willing, tomorrow. Thank you very much, and hope to see you tomorrow, 8:15 in the morning. God bless you all. With Mashiach now.